I was challenged by P&J's Homestead Adventure to make homemade cream cheese. So let's get started. So for this recipe, we're going to need 4 cups of whole milk. We're going to use some apple cider vinegar. That's going to be 3 tablespoons. And then I've got some Redmond real salt. That's going to be to taste. And then a couple of tablespoons of butter. And then we're going to use an immersion blender to blend this up at the end. You can do this in a regular blender, but I'm going to use the stick blender. So we'll get started heating up the milk. I just put it in a pan that would hold the 4 cups. Now you want to keep stirring this your milk so that it doesn't burn. And we don't want it to come to a rolling boil. We just want it to get to a boiling point. So keep an eye on it. Keep stirring as it warms up. And then once it starts to get to a boil, then we're going to turn it down. As you can see, it's starting to heat up now. We're almost at the point where we're going to have to turn the heat down. Once you start seeing bubbles come up in the milk, you want to reduce the heat just to keep it hot kind of thing. And there, I'm just turning down the heat there. Now we're going to start adding the apple cider vinegar, sort of a tablespoon at a time here. As you can see, the milk immediately starts to separate or curdle, which is what we want. So we're just going to keep stirring that so it doesn't burn. We'll stir that first tablespoon of ACV into the milk. And then we're going to add another third of it in and then stir that around again. So here's the second part of the apple cider vinegar. And as you can see, as we add more, it curdles even more, starts to separate the curds from the whey. But just keep stirring, let it do its thing. Get that apple cider vinegar all stirred in. Now you can make this recipe with regular vinegar or lemon juice. I'm just following the recipe that Paula put on her video, which I will link in the description, about how to make this cream cheese. So now you can see I've added the last of the apple cider vinegar, and we're going to give that one more stir here. And then the idea is once you've got the vinegar all mixed in, we're going to turn off the heat. You can see it's nice and curdled there. So we're going to turn off the heat and then we're going to cover it. And the instructions call for setting it aside for 10 minutes before we start to strain it. So here we'll put a lid on the pot, as you can see, and then we'll set it aside. And then we're going to set the timer on the stove for 10 minutes. Okay, so our 10 minutes has gone by. So what we're going to do is we're going to strain or pour the curds and the whey into a strainer here. And we're just trying to separate them in the strainer. Now, if you don't have a strainer that's got small enough holes on it, you can use cheesecloth. This one I probably could have used it with this strainer, but this is all I had. So we're just trying to get most of the moisture out of the curds here. And then we're going to transfer it into a measuring cup, which we're going to use to blend it up. Now, if you want a smoother cream cheese, Paula says to make sure that the curds are warm when you're blending it. That'll keep it spreadable. which is what I was looking for. So the curds are still nice and warm here. And now we're going to add in our butter. Again, that's about 2 tablespoons of butter here. And then we're going to add some salt into the mix as well. Now again, you can add more or less salt depending on your taste. This is entirely personal. So we're going to use the stick blender to start mixing this up. Now I think ultimately I probably should have mixed this cream cheese a bit longer, and it would have got creamier, but ultimately it did turn out good. And I think I probably could put it in a bigger container. Would have made it easier to mix thoroughly. But this is the first time I've made this, so you're coming along with my sort of learning curve as it is. I didn't make it beforehand to learn what I'm doing. The whole point of this challenge collaboration is that we're making things for the first time and recording it just so we can have some fun collaborating with some other creators. So we've got that mixed up there. We're going to transfer that to a dish here. Again, happy with that, how it turned out. I'm going to try it a few other ways, maybe with some lemon juice, and then I'll probably add some flavorings to it, like some dill or chives or, onion, garlic. Whatever you like would probably work. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I enjoy this collaboration a whole lot. Be sure to watch the other videos in this month's episode 3 of the I Was Challenged collaboration. And we'll see you next month. Keep on thriving, my friends.